Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Inventors Roundtable on April 10th, 2025. And we meet from coast to coast. So we are going to get started with our meeting and introduce everybody. Guys, I do not have a speaker tonight simply because I wanted to talk to you. We'll have a couple of different speakers, one in 2 weeks for the fourth Monday, and then we will have another one in May because I've got a couple of really good speakers coming up. So we will do that, but we're going to get to the point, I think, where we've got on one of our meetings, we've got a speaker, and on the other one, we don't, just so that we can visit and chat with each other. Because I learn things as we go through this that are valuable for you guys to know. And I hate to take up a speaker when I'm doing all the talking. So you're stuck with me tonight, guys. But it gives us a chance to have you introduce yourselves to each other. Too. When we've got a speaker, that's a little bit harder. So Andrea, I don't know that Roy and David know who you are. You introduced yourself to Jacob. I know that Russell has seen you before, but besides me, you're the only lady here, so go for it.
Hi, so I have what's called the pet travel feeder on wheels, and it's luggage for your dog, your cat, whatever animal you're traveling with, and it's broken out to feed them on the same schedule at home twice a day. So you can take it traveling with you, or you can leave it at home as a staycation and just have somebody feed from that area, that piece of luggage. They're not going through cabinets and whatnot. And of course, it is patent pending. Been reaching out to a lot of different groups, seeing who will contact me, who won't. As a matter of fact, right before I jumped on, I saw an article I read on pet travel. And it was from a month ago, but it came from a website that sounded like it's called Always Pets. And they said, email us if you have any interest, you want to chat about anything. We love to get back to you, blah, blah, blah. So I did. And I sent them my website. I just set up a website, pettravelfeeder.com. And I set up a crowdfunding page to see if any of that would work, and tried to contact a number of friends and family to let them know it was there. I'm brand new at any of the social media. I'm a very private person. I don't do any social media. Basically, I click like, and that's it. That's all I ever do online with Facebook or anything else. So I'm jumping into a very new place for me, way out of my comfort zone. So we'll see where it goes, but that's me right now.
All right, good job. Okay, Jacob, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Jacob Maurice. I am actually a mechanical product designer, done all sorts of stuff. I actually did the mechanical design for the very first Ring doorbell. An independent contractor. I have designed several things on my own, one of which is a small folding stroller that folds down to about this size that I've been hoping to license for a couple of years now and get out into the market. But I have 10 kids, but now my youngest is 5, so it's not even useful for me anymore, but I'm hoping to make it useful for the rest of the world.
Oh, honey, you get kudos just for running that fast after everybody. So, Russell, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi, it's Russell Kramer, yes, and I've known Rita probably since 2018 or something, 2017.
Longer than that, yeah, longer than that.
Maybe longer, and so that part of the Inventors Group Association of New England, now New England Invents, with George Peters now at the helm. And so that's how we met, and a lot of networking going on. I went to the 2019 National Hardware Show, and then I was attending this one remotely, but was able to get on the ASD website and kind of, bring some leads over to the table by remotely using the site. So that I found that very useful. The lead she has in her hand was someone that I called in advance and invited them over to the booth. And so
they actually showed up, yeah.
So that, you can leverage that site. If you're thinking about next year, you can leverage that site kind of in advance to try to notify some of the people if you look them up. And there was a lot of people interested when I was on another one of your meetings. So I just want to share that piece of information, and that those that didn't sign on until after Rita opened the meeting, I was telling people about that I have a mirror that's being manufactured in China that's being held up because of the tariffs. and then Rita just made a suggestion, or someone else, no, it was Andrea, right? Andrea made the suggestion that Trump put a 90-day hold on tariffs for every country except China. So if anyone else has something in China that they're manufacturing, they're ready to import here, they suggest talk to your sourcing group and see if they can ship it to the unaffected countries and have them ship it here. So that I'm trying to just share everything I know to help everyone else, all my other inventor friends, and you know, things like that. So that's the couple of things I can share right now.
Well, let us know what you find out,
Yeah.
because I will send out a newsletter on Monday with several different points, and I will be able to include whatever you found out.
Oh, okay, right. I'll let you know right after I speak with Jeff.
Yep.
See what happens.
So, James, you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
There you are.
Second, you can hear me okay? I'm having some mic problems. Perfect. Hi everyone, my name's James. I'm coming at you from Denver, Colorado. I'm new to this group, first time I've joined you guys. I'm also new to the product space too. I have a background in, I have a master's in mechanical engineering. I've worked in some design. I had a job in manufacturing for a while too, up in Canada. And I've recently started on this journey of wanting to license some product ideas, because I have lots of ideas, and the bit I'm missing is how to make them and what to do in terms of marketing, how to contact licensees, etc. So I'm hoping to get some knowledge from you guys and lap up some of your expertise, if that's okay.
Excellent. Glad you're here. David, you're next.
Okay, I'm David Lighthouser in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. I have been inventing stuff since, I don't know, maybe 1980 or something like that. I've marketed somewhere between 100 and 150 inventions. About 95 to 98% of these were software, computer software, some electronics, some physical things. The amount of money I've made from them ranges from about 52 cents to about $38,000. So it's quite a hodgepodge there. Some of the stuff I market myself, most of the software, some of it I license, some of it I just sell outright, you know, the rights to. Anyway, so I've just actually started getting into the idea of actually patenting stuff. So far, I've got 2 provisional patents, but until now, I've really haven't needed to. It's kind of hard to steal software, you know, because the way I have it and everything. So anyway, that's me.
Okay, Roy, you're next. Unmute yourself. There you go.
All right. Hello there. My name is Roy, and James, I'm also a first time, attendee. So yeah, no doubt. All right. I live in Hollywood, Florida, which is just south of Fort Lauderdale, about half hour, 40 minutes or so. And I invented the bottle station. The bottle station is a really cool item where I have the patent on those 2 spring tabs on the inside. And so that's why it holds everything from your hand sanitizer, little 8-ounce bottle. Just put it in. Look at that. Now you can just reach over with one hand. You never have to worry about your hand pump bottle falling over. What about your Aveeno? Just put it, here's a 12-ounce oval. Just put it right inside. And look at that. You can just reach over. Your bottles are never going to fall over again. You're never going to have to use 2 hands. It's a real pain in the butt. So that's my invention, thebottlestation.com. And the patent is on the 2 spring tabs, right? And so it's as simple as, here, watch this. You just press it down, and it's already working, the 4 suction cups, right? 100% USA made. So I understand the tariff issues, but, I'm 100% USA made bottle station. And it's just as easy as that. Put it right in there. Boom.
Right. And your
Rita has one.
I have two. You sent me a black one and a white one. So you're manufacturing and selling, correct, on your website?
I am thebottlestation.com.
Okay.
Right?
Have you checked in with the platform Made in the USA?
No, I haven't really.
I'm putting
That's
that on my to-do list for tomorrow. I will send you their information. They only host products that are made in the USA.
okay. So the suction cups,
Mm-hmm.
right? They come from Pennsylvania.
Cool.
The super glue comes from Gorilla Super Glue in Ohio. So it truly is 100%. And what I just started doing was, this was a campaign for New Year Life. There was an agent that I met, and he now has these in his conference rooms. So nobody has to worry about the bottle falling over in the middle of a meeting. They just reach right over and 1, 2, 3. People with Parkinson's, stroke victims, people in wheelchairs when it falls off the counter. So, and I just came back from a really successful RV show in Tampa, Florida. So the Thor mobile homes, right?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
It's a really fun, useful product.
Hang on. I'm thinking, Roadmaster. Okay. So you guys,
So
when I ask you guys to introduce yourselves and you start talking, it gives me a marker on what information you need, either from each other or from me, or different resources that I could send out to you guys. So Roy, you did a very good job, because I've got 2 notes now to send you.
I
Andrea,
really appreciate that.
yours
And
was very good, and Russell's, because now I will give you credit in the newsletter, Andrea, and then Russell for sending us the information when I send out that newsletter. So thank you.
brilliant. And right now the patent, is still pending, right? So I can't wait for it to get issued, because then I can knock on Rita's door for licensing.
No,
Can you
don't,
imagine,
don't wait.
Purell putting one of these, in a package, buy 2, get a free bottle station?
You don't wait. If I have not sent you my licensing agreement yet, you need to send me your address so I can send it to you tomorrow. All right. We don't wait for patents to issue to go after licensing. Right. Because that's one of the things they ask us. What have you been doing for 4 years? Well, you've been selling, which is great, because we can do a better deal. And I know that a couple of you have, heard the story the stories from ASD that we went to, because you were, you did join us on that one meeting. The Thursday meeting a month ago, we were flying back from Las Vegas. So I had to cancel that meeting. They won't let me get internet service when I'm 30,000 feet in the air. So I, canceled that one. When we got back, we were, crazy busy getting things, sorted out. But one of the really cool stories from this show, and, we meet the most interesting folks at ASD Market Week. And one of our guys that had gone to, Russell, you may have met him. They have a couple of dog products. One was a dog leash. When you were there that first time, he was there this time. He said he had more contacts in 3 hours at this show than he had had in 3 years at the National Hardware Show. So very different crew going to this show. Very interesting as far as, anybody who had inventory, they sold all of it while they were there. 4 days. There was, one lady that she had, cases of her product, sold 10 cases to a little store on an island. She goes, I don't care where they are, they paid for it. And she said, I don't care what label they put on it. I'm shipping them, everything I've got. So, everybody there did well. And I think that was one of the big things that we noticed. If they had inventory they were selling, they sold everything they had, which is, that makes them happy. So then, then the next thing was, there was a gentleman who came down to our booth, and I had met him the year before. He was, so nice, and, wanted to see everything that, that we had going on. And then he promptly told me how frustrated he was with himself that he was not in our booth, because he and his wife had a very cool new product. He showed me pictures and they were upstairs. And he goes, you're having more fun. You've got more people. You're in a better location. You've got staff with you. And why am I not here? And it's like, I don't know. Whatever. Then we find out that he works for the NFL licensing products. All right. So Roy, we're going to send him yours. They've got access to all of those trademarks. And they
Can you
put them on.
imagine the tailgaters,
Oh, yeah.
right? Just put it right out there on your,
Yeah.
like, look at this, right?
Absolutely.
Just put it right down. Then when you're done, with the pickup truck.
Yep.
Okay. So here's the story. I'm a lemonade from lemons guy, right? That's my story. Rita knows it, and
Yep.
I'll swear by it. I'm sticking to it. My hand got injured in a saw years ago and was amputated, right? My left arm. And so I became really frustrated with the hand pump bottles on the market with one hand, them falling over, and so forth. So I decided I made one out of clay and it worked really well, and there we go from there. Right. So I really appreciate that, because I can't even imagine how many kids would buy dad a bottle station. My dad loves, the Minnesota Vikings, or, perfect.
Well, and we've got several names because that was some of the products that we had were for logos to go on them. And those are excellent, promotional products, selling at gift shops, all of that stuff. So with those other products and the staff I had, we've got probably a half a dozen groups that are just like Len's group, except that he comes down and he wants to be in our space next year. But the interesting thing is that, he leaves and he goes, I'll be with you next year. Well, that's cool. We would love to have him. But then I asked the inventor standing right there, it's like, all right, tell me how your product relates to the NFL. And he goes, oh my God, this would be so cool. He's got an athletic training product. And so I call Len at 6 o'clock in the morning, the next morning, and say, Len, I need you to come down here and look at this thing, and see what you think. Tell us what you think. So he goes, I'll be down about 10 o'clock. So sure as the world, he walks in about 10 o'clock and he spends about a half hour with Craig, and they're both so excited. So then he leaves. He goes about the rest of his day. Well, the guy that's displaying next to, this is a little bit of a long story, but displaying next to Craig, he's got tools. Russell, you probably met him, Derry, the Irishman. So he's got tools there, and I send him over to Tolson Tools. He comes back and he's kind of pouting, and he goes, well, I made him mad. So because he's mad at me, he's mad at you, and you need to go over and be nice. It's like, what? So he goes, and it wouldn't hurt if you took him a beer. It's like, fine. Okay, you go buy the 6-pack. I will take the man a beer, because I met him last year. So I knew him. I knew who I was sending him to. He's got one of our other products from last year. And so I go over and I've got the 6-pack and I sit down, I'm talking to Neil, and he's telling me, kind of his, Derry's attitude. I said, he's Irish. What can I say? And he started to laugh and he goes, but I got this really cool product I want to show you. The guy just introduced me to it. He wants me to make the prototype when I go to China. And he says, the guy's from the NFL. And I go, really? And he shows me, and it's exactly that product. And I said, did you want to come over and see the prototype? And he goes, sure. And I said, well, and you might want to bring that 6-pack of beer, because Derry is the one standing right next to the inventor of, this prototype. So we all go over there. We're all having another beer. We're having a grand time talking about tools, talking about this athletic product. And in the meantime, then, Len, or Neil from Tolson Tools, knows that I help inventors license. So he's saying, all right, you tell me when you've got the licensing deals all ready to go, and then I will work with Len on getting some of these things manufactured. So it was really interesting the way the circle came all the way around to somebody I had met the year before who already had one of our tools that is now getting ready to make a tool for one of the guys that wants to license it. And Len asked for 3 products that were in our booth: the coaster, the ultimate coaster, and then the snack and pack little lunch snapping pack things. And I think he was curious about that one, because that's what won the innovation award this year. But very interesting the way things all fall together. And one of the ladies that's going to be our speaker next week, who does the R&D tax credit. And Roy, you would be perfect for that. Russell, you're in that ballpark now.
This is for what now, Rita?
The R&D tax credit.
Okay, so that's any expenses on any of my stuff. Just keep the receipts, kind of.
Any expenses on the research and development. So as you went through, you know, your research and your development with ITI, the different prototypes that they were going through, that is called development. All right. Any of the research that you had done, they can go back up to 3 years to do your expenses. And so I've got her, she'll be our speaker at the Monday meeting in a couple of weeks.
What date?
It's the fourth Monday in April.
Oh, and I also want to be in touch with that Made in America company, you know, for only because I want to find out if they know places I can manufacture TrueView and Cleanos and all that and anything else.
Cleanos, yes, that is the other thing that we are learning. The companies that do manufacture in the US. So your Cleanos would go to a company called Stitch Kentucky. They do all kinds of textiles. And I will send you Stacy's information.
I really want to know because, you know, this just even before the tariffs, I was kind of getting fed up with these 6-week vacations that the Chinese manufacturers take, and then they tell me to hurry up and send a payment, and you know, and it was frustrating then. Now it's just over the top. So I really, and you know, I think with AI and other things that we'll be able to be maybe not as cheap but competitive over here.
Well, what we found is that, you know, when you look at failure rate, you are much better off manufacturing here. But Stitch Kentucky, I met them through the Kentucky group, obviously, Dawn Skaggs, but we've had her on the radio now, and we're putting her information out everywhere because of the variety of things that they will make that fall into the textile category. She's an inventor herself. They used to do, and they are really good, they used to do a lot of the Toyota interiors until the local Toyota plant moved it in-house. So these ladies were very, very good. They've got 52 seamstresses that work in this plant.
Wow, that might be good even potentially for copper microbe stopper, because you can stitch, you can make copper into strands that can be woven. So that sounds like, I definitely want to know about that company, that the Made in America place.
Right. Yeah. And the other one I will send to you is Greg Owens. Okay. He's got Cheryl Manufacturing. And they do, it's the old Oneida silverware plant that they bought, and they do the only US made flatware in America.
I saw that. I was attending that and I saw him give his spiel.
But they do then short runs for other things that are made out of the metals, but he's got resources. All right, so he would know. But then he's also good friends with the guy that does the Made in the USA platform. So Don Buckner, who we met at ASD a year ago, is the one that does that platform. And so they know a lot of resources as well. They're very active with manufacturing in the US.
All right, I'm looking forward to all that jazz. All right.
All right, all that jazz. So if I forget, I've got a list for you too, Russell, for tomorrow. So if I forget anything, you let me know.
And yeah, and I'll be sure to get, you know, touch base. And once I find out from Jeff, just to kind of overcome this little snare when you know, China.
And I've got the newsletter going out that will have Cheryl Manufacturing on it. It will have Stitch Kentucky on it. It'll have the R&D tax credit stuff on it. So there will be a lot of information in that next newsletter. Brandon, it's nice to see you. Why don't you unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Hey team, how's everybody?
Just fine. How are you?
Good. I am Brandon Kohler. I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana. And then I started a product development company as I was launching my product and kind of documenting everything. And then I'm on about 77 store shelves and sold about 3,000 units of my product, and thankfully patented from last summer. And then right now I'm actually working on a LinkedIn book because I see how many people struggle, especially with inventors. So I'm working on an actual guide for step by step for what I was able to do and how I was able to reach out to people. And then it's a little bit kind of like Big Brother email, because you can see if someone viewed your profile. So that actually helped me when an editor of a big magazine viewed my profile after I met them, and then I got a big deal with them. So that's kind of one of the stories that's been useful for me.
Yeah, that would be great. So that would, yeah, because, been there, done that, messed it up, cleaned it up, and, now we use it a lot. But holy cow, the cleanup is really nasty if you don't know what you're doing.
There's a lot of click-throughs, so
Oh my
I've been
goodness.
doing screen shares and videos and a lot of different stuff. And then if you pay for premium, it's actually a little bit different than if you have the standard version. So people even struggle if they only have the normal version. So
Well, we've got the premium so that we can get in there just because we live on LinkedIn and the social media. So Roy?
Yeah, I'm in a bit of a spot, right? I'm like really between a rock. This is a rock and a hard spot, right? I know Brandon from, we working together, right? And so forth. So, my rock to you all and the hard spot is he is brilliant. He is the LinkedIn guru. Okay. Do not consult with anybody else, but I can't continue to compliment him because then he'll never have time for me. So, but I am not kidding you. Almost every place you go, the first thing they research is LinkedIn, no matter what webinar it is. And if your LinkedIn is not equal to the caliber you're soliciting or want to hang out with, you don't get a second chance.
Yep.
And so Brandon has brought me, I was dragging my knuckles, right? Before Neanderthal, right? Brandon has gotten me to kindergarten a little bit. Okay. But he truly is, all joking aside, wonderful communicator, patient as Mother Teresa, and just highly recommend him.
Well, that's excellent. I love it when we get good testimonials right there where you're there listening. So, James, do you have any questions for us?
Oh, I've got so many. Again, I'm new on this journey. It's such a pleasure to hear there's so many people that have done what I'm trying to do. Maybe next week or later on in this, I can come with some more better questions and maybe share what I've been working on. That'd be cool. I'd love to get some perspectives on that.
If you've ever got any questions, you can always call me or shoot me an email. And
I appreciate that. Thank you.
On where you're at in the process, I can send you a non-disclosure, non-compete and sign it so that you can tell me what you're working on.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. And, I had a gentleman, I had not heard from him in years, called me while I was standing in the Lowe's parking lot. And he goes, Rita. And I go, yes. And he goes, my company needs to get a search done to make sure that we're not infringing on this product. And it's like, okay, send me your information. So he just, wrote it all up and got his search in for his entire team. And another gentleman that I had never met heard one of the radio programs and is getting searches done on 4 different products to see which one he's got the best chance of getting into the marketplace. So, it's always good to, be out there and make the contacts. So anything you need, let me know. David, how about you? Any questions for us? You're muted.
No questions. I'm just listening here, observing.
Okay. Jacob, you got any questions?
Oh, just any.
Nope, you're muted, honey.
Man, good golly. Nope, just trying to figure out how to get people to listen to me and want to give me money.
I think we're all in that boat.
It's funny. I wish I could. So I've got a lot of followers on social media, and I wish I could somehow figure out how to leverage that, but I have no idea how to do that.
Call Brandon.
Wait,
That's what I said. Call Brandon.
Brandon, do you know how to leverage social media?
That's
Are you
what he does.
doing LinkedIn or Instagram, or which one are you focusing on?
Well, so part of the problem is none of my followers have anything to do with the stuff I'm doing. I've got 150,000 total followers on a dad joke channel I do.
That's awesome.
And then another 1.5 million followers on our family channel of our 10 Kids in 10 Years family channel. So
Cheers.
Well, start a separate page for your product and title it with the product and everything. So at least when people go searching, they'll find it. And then maybe on the page that you're being followed, mention, hey guys, guess what? I just opened this other new page over here to sell the product, and that might transfer some of the people over there.
yeah, so yeah, I wish I could say, hey, just go to all the people with money and send them this video.
It doesn't work that way, honey. I'm sorry.
I know, but it would be nice.
It would be nice. I wish I had 1 million followers on any one of my channels, but I don't. But then I don't have 10 kids either. So
Yeah, that's have 10 kids.
yeah, I'll
That's
give you kudos on that one, and I will keep my low numbers on my channels there. We're just fine.
Yeah, but you're on the radio.
I am on the radio. And so we are doing, new topics now after we got done with ASD. And so, I love being able to get all of you on the radio and talk about your products or where you are. You don't have to have product to be on the radio. And you don't even have to be patent pending yet to be on the radio, because I can pick, a topic where, it's like, tell us what your story is. Tell us what your challenge is. And so a lot of times you're just helping the other inventors out there, or it's an interesting story and the listeners, want to hear what's going on. It's kind of like Shark Tank. I mean, there are a lot of people who watch Shark Tank and they're never going to be an inventor. So when we're going out there and talking about inventors on the radio, it's, one, they help you move your products. So the consumers there are, a lot of them, those are the ones we're talking to move product. But a lot of them, I get inventors say, well, I was listening to you on, the radio. I was listening to you on your YouTube channel. I was listening to you. It's like, okay, great. And they call me and ask me to, for some advice or a service provider. And that's what we do. But I think the one thing that I've learned this week that I wanted to share with everybody tonight, just so it's on your radar, there are ways, and I'm sure that some of you have gone into the USPTO website and learned how to look up your information. And it's really important that you know that skill set, because it's ultimately up to you to follow that. I've had a couple of inventors. One had used a firm out of Florida, and they let her patent go abandoned. Now, she can pull it out. That's, the attorney that I sent her to, that was one of our attorneys, he hustled it up, and in a couple of hours, he had all the paperwork in before it, really fell into the toilet. So, you can, there's fees you can pay to get it out of the toilet. After a certain point, you're just stuck. But if you, the inventor, are going in and checking on a regular basis, once every 6 months, you go in and you check your status. Ultimately, it does fall to you. And that's one of the things that we have learned from, she was so angry at that firm in Florida. And it's like, you can file a complaint against them, but the patent office's position is that ultimately it's the inventor's responsibility. So pay attention to your intellectual property. Anybody whose patent is issued, you will have a maintenance fee come up at about 5 years. Now they post it and you've got a year to pay it. So it's not like it's like, oh my God, it's going to happen next week and I've got to pay it next week. You've got time, but you need to pay attention. Okay.
Well, Rita, I'm wondering about Klinos. I've got all my patents issued except Klinos, which is patent pending, but now they're gutting the patent office and you're laying off people. And I asked Jonathan, is it worth checking in with the examiner to make sure he hasn't been laid off and abandoning my patent before it's been issued? And what do I do about that?
I've got two attorneys who are really good at following up with client paperwork. Jonathan is one of them and Malcolm is the other, because Malcolm used to be an examiner. And then I've got a couple that are just terrible at doing their own secretarial work, and I want to beat them on the head with a stick. So I know I've got to chase those. And I've gotten pretty good at it. So I can go in and check your status tomorrow, Russell. I've gotten pretty good at it.
All right.
All right. That's another thing to put on my list for Russell. Yes, check status. Okay. Anybody else need me to do something for him tomorrow? Well, come on, guys, say something.
Well, just I did email Jonathan a while ago. I never heard about it, so I'm glad you can just nudge him a little.
So no, I won't. I'm not going to nudge him. I'm going to go look myself.
Okay. I mean, I can look up my patent and see it there in my application, but I don't know, like, if the patent examiner is even there anymore. He's been laid off.
That doesn't matter, because it'll be reassigned. So you don't need to worry about that part. All right, they'll reassign that. What I want to do is go in and look at the status. And I know there's a secret button to push that I can see status. I can pull everybody up, and you can pull yourself up, but there's a secret button in there that used to be public, and it's no longer public. So you got to know the secret spot to go to. So yeah, I've learned. I've spent a lot of time last week saying nasty words and looking for the secret button. And it's like, but you can't just go to the secret button. You've got to actually have a very special number that you pull off the patent to use with the secret button that pulls you up the information you're looking for. And then it still doesn't give you everything, but at least it gives you a starting point.
Awesome.
So, but what we've learned is that the patent office really holds the inventor somewhat accountable on tracking your own stuff. And like I said, you know, we do it for a lot of the inventors, but still, it's, you know, it's nice to know that you can go in and check your stuff. Okay.
Sounds good.
So if you ever want a lesson on how to do that, I can't give the lesson unless I'm prepared and I've got everything up and I'm looking at it. But if you ever
a good roundtable thing, a good roundtable, you know,
if you ever want to do a roundtable meeting that is specifically on how to manage the USPTO, I am more than happy to put that on the schedule for May or June. So
is there any status on them? Are they still years behind, or are they coming up?
Oh, yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now they're still, you know, they're still tracking pretty much at the 3 years for issuing. So it's not worse than it was. It's been 3 years forever. You know, and if you are over the age of 65, you can pay for expedited. If you've got health issues, you can pay for expedited. And then you're talking months instead of years. You can usually get it through in about 9 months. But I had a gentleman that I talked to a couple of weeks ago, and he was thrilled that his patent had issued in a few months and he did it pro se. It's like, she goes, they told me I was brilliant. And it's like, yeah, probably not where you want to be brilliant, because if you got it that fast and that easily, it's too narrow. And the problem, you know, when the inventor is doing it themselves, you see what it is, you write what you see, and that's too narrow. The artistry is that it bumps up against the other intellectual property, and you enter into a willful tug of war with the examiner to fight for the geography. When the examiner just says, okay, here, you're granted, it's like, oh man, I could have gotten more, because, you know, they're not negotiating, and you want to negotiate. You want, this is one where you definitely want to negotiate, and you want to be, you know, and it's kind of like this. All right. So if you know that your sweet spot is like right here. All right. And you want, this is critical space to you. If you ask for this much space, and the first time they come back to you and they want to give you this much space, the negotiation lands you in your sweet spot. So you go back and forth, and you do this dance with the examiner, and you know, that makes all the difference in the world. So when it comes back and they give you just this much, it means you could have probably gotten this much, but you didn't ask for it, because you wrote what you see, and it is right. And so I told the gentleman that I could not help him as a licensing agent because his patent was too narrow.
And then
Well, we
that
have
also helps, excuse me, that also helps making the patent more enforceable and a stronger patent.
Yes,
Because
definitely.
you've gone through the code. I mean, I've gone through a lot of office actions.
Yes.
And now, and you got to pay for each one, but you get what you pay for.
Yes. Yes. Jacob?
I was just gonna say, I worked right now. I'm working on a few products where the patents are just, I'm like, they're useless. There's one where
Yes.
it's like, hey, we have to put feet on this, that we didn't want little feet on it, but we have to put feet on it or it doesn't meet the patent. I'm like,
yeah.
There's one where it's like, hey, we have to do between 13 to 16 LEDs on a screw-in bulb, or this special screw-in bulb, or it's not going to meet the patent. I'm like, so somebody can do 12 and work around it? Like,
yep.
This is not a good patent.
We had one years ago where it was a fairly cool product. You know, it shouldn't have been a problem. And when they came back to me and said, well, we want to make it out of a biodegradable material. And I said, you can't. And she goes, why not? And I said, because your attorney put aluminum in the patent. And it was that simple, that it was said made out of aluminum, where it should have said made out of something like, but not limited to. And so, you know, another one that we see frequently is the attorney will write the algorithm for a software piece. No, you don't put the actual, you put what's happening, not the actual code into the patent. It's like putting a recipe in. We had a young woman, and I think you probably all heard me talk about Jasmine, who had the feeding tube. And the original patent attorney, and it was the same one that messed up filing for this other lady, when they wrote the provisional, they actually put then the recipe for this powder into the patent. And so when we got a hold of it, the attorney threw it out completely. And he rewrote it then with the idea that it was going to be things that had properties or similar properties to these combined materials, powders, that then created this result. So there was huge room then for them to get in there and play with it. No room for somebody else to get in there and pull in something, because when they say like properties, that took a whole bunch of things out of the playing field for somebody else to go after them. And we ended up licensing that to the company that makes the stomas. They make the feeding tubes, and these guys haven't even had their first office action yet. But when their attorney read the patent and they said, we can work with this, we can defend this. And that's what a licensee wants to know when they look at the patent. Can we defend it if someone infringes on it? And their attorneys were thrilled with the way it was written. So those are some of the things that, you know, that we look at. Now, Jacob, on your guys, all right, if their patent has not issued yet.
Oh, these are ones that issued and then they came to this place and said, hey, will you build this?
Yeah. Well, if you get some that have not issued, the inventor can file a CIP, which is the continuation in part to go in and make improvements or changes. Once the patent is issued, you can't. They're stuck with it.
Yeah, and part of it for me is trying to work with, I mean, the people I work with have, the non-patent people don't really understand patents. And so they're like, if it's in the patent, it has to be in the product. I'm like, that's not true. You don't have to do that. But if your patent, if it's not protecting the product that you're making or the best product that you want to make, then your patent isn't worth much. If somebody can come in and make a better version of what you have, and you already know what the better version is, and not infringe on your patent is not worth much.
Yeah, and you know, especially when they've got the patent and they're trying to make something that isn't what the patent describes. Well, now they've just, you know, basically tossed it out. But we do see it on a regular basis.
Yep.
And I think the other thing to keep in mind on intellectual property is when sometimes the patent gets written on the machine that is making the product, not necessarily the product itself.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen that happen. There was a gentleman in Florida that has a wonderful product. I mean, we've been using his product for 10 years, but the patent is on the machine that makes it, not on the product itself. And he bottles this stuff up. It sells for like $10 a bottle like this on Amazon in the US. All right. They ship it by the barrel full to China, and it sells in this little itty bitty jar thing for $150 as a beauty aid in China.
Wow.
So, and it's, you know, it's called Pinerite. It's made out of the beetle kill pine in Colorado. So they were stripping all of the bark and the needles off of these poles when they had the big pine beetle kill out there, and leaving all of this trash all over his acreage. And he goes, there has got to be a better hot dog in there somewhere. And so he invented then what's called Pinerite. It's made out of pine dust, lanolin, and borax. So it's a soap. It's a powder soap. And he had it tested at the University of Colorado. They said it's like washing your skin with pure vitamins. And, you know, for acne and any of the skin stuff, it is just amazing. And but it's not on, the patent is not on the soap. It's on the machine that turns the pine trash into a powder.
Wow.
And that's where the patent is. So, but a very, very cool product. My sister had paid thousands of dollars for my nephew to have acne treatments. And when I gave him a bottle of Pinerite, it took him 2 weeks to have clear skin.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that was it. So if anybody needs any Pinerite, you know, get on there on Amazon and look for it, because he's still selling it like crazy out of Colorado. But, you know, just some of the fun things that we've had, you know, over the years. We talk about all the different, you know, things that we have in our house that were done by inventors. And, you know, the straw that we use, that was for folks with Parkinson's, it fits perfectly into those coffee cup lids. That's got the you know, like the oval, the McDonald's lids, any of those coffee cup lids. This straw fits right down in there nice and tight, so you're not splashing your coffee all over when you're in the car. And they're dishwasher. And that was the inventor had worked with Parkinson's patients, and she invented it for them. And you know, that disposal genie was another big one. My daughters were asking for, you know, disposal genies. You know, everybody gets them in their Christmas stocking on about a 10-year cycle. They are still sold at all the Home Depots and Lowe's in North America. So we've had some really fun ones that we've worked on and get from, you know, I have an idea, what do I do, to, you know, manufacturing and licensing. And when we put, Danco is the company that licensed the disposal genie. And when we got that one in, before the ink was even dry on the contract, Walmart knocked it off. And Danco went after them and got it pulled. So, you know, that when you license your product to a big company, they're not going to mess around with somebody infringing on the patent. And they're still not sold in Walmart, but they're sold in Home Depots and Lowe's and Amazon all over North America.
Awesome.
And oh man, they work great. When I got divorced, the only thing my husband wanted to keep was the disposal genie.
That's fine.
And we all still have them. So that was a good one. But you know, just some of the fun products that we've always had. When I first started doing this, long time ago now, and the first, you know, couple of years rolled around, and we had some of these really cool products. And so for Christmas, I would give my kids and their husbands new inventions. And the first time I did it, my son-in-law is like, that's really kind of hokey, you know, I'm not really sure I like this. And then he got the gifts, and it's like, oh my God, what are we getting next year? And when the lady that did the hot straw went out of business, he bought all of her inventory and gave them away to all of the people that work for Campbell Scientific in Utah.
Wow.
Wait, who was this?
My son-in-law, Sam Utley.
Oh,
Campbell.
lives in Utah? He lives in Utah?
Yeah, they live up in Cache Valley.
Oh, great.
So, but yeah, they, you know, it's like, what are we getting this year? So, you know, it's been a fun process that we have gone through to, you know, use things, test things. And I always enjoy it when the last one we had that was really funny was my husband he always wants a coaster for the table. He hates coasters because his cup sticks to them and then they drop on his pants and they get his pants wet. And he would always complaining about it. So we had a couple that had their product at ASD. They sent a sample called the Ultimate Coaster, and the way they made it, the cup doesn't stick to it. Anything that's, condensation goes down into the coaster. And so when I put him in my husband's Christmas stocking for him, and when he took them out, he goes, well, these are awfully lightweight. I don't think these will work very well. They are everywhere in the house now because he uses them in every single room. And it's just, funny to watch how different people will use the different products that we get.
I have to run to another meeting, but it's great to meet everybody.
It's great to see you. And like I said, I know that Malcolm will eventually have some more drawings for you to do for some different patents.
Yeah.
All right.
Brandon had his hand up for a while, I think.
Brandon. All right, Jacob, it was nice to see you. Brandon, what you got going, honey?
I was going to see what your suggestion was, Rita, because one of my family members, significant others, wants to either license or patent a dog food that's got a special thing with it. And I'm like, well, is that a chemical patent? Because it's definitely not a design patent. Or is it a trade secret? And she's wanting to know what to do. And
if the combination of elements do a specific thing, all right, she could get a utility patent on it.
Okay.
All right.
I think so. Okay.
They're going to look at what does it do. All right. And then if it's just one thing in a special amount, you may have to go as a secret, but that means then you are going to have to do all the manufacturing yourself. Now, the one way to get past that is if you've got a company that wants to license it and you have it made, at a plant and then you ship it to them, you can still keep the trade secret. But it really depends on, what it is. I would have her get a search done so that she knows, because if that thing is being used, that element in any other kind of food product, she won't be able to get a patent on it. She could then use it as a trade secret in the dog food. But
because it meant more with your first thing where it does a certain thing for the dog during a certain time period is her
okay.
So.
I would still suggest that she get a search done first, so that she knows, because like I said, if that thing is being used any other way in food to do have that same effect, she won't be granted a patent on it. And if she's infringing on somebody else's existing patent, they'll go after her.
Agreed.
Okay. So if she wants to get a search done, just have her, shoot me an email and I'll send her a form for search quest.
Perfect.
So we'll get that taken care of. So Howard, how are you tonight? Unmute yourself and introduce yourself. You came in a little bit late. All right, if you're looking for your mute button, wave at me. Okay, I see you waving. All right. I will watch for your mute button to go off then. So you can introduce yourself because you got in a little bit late. Does anybody else have any questions, comments? Russell, your hand is up. What's going on?
Just for Brendan, you mentioned about going on LinkedIn Premium, so that I've been getting that offer for a long time and I can do so. But is there anything beyond that? Once you're on Premium, you need to have someone like you kind of redesign my site, or is it just going on Premium? Because I have some really good articles I've published on TrueView, one of my inventions. It's on there. And I do get regular notices that there's views on it. But are you suggesting that I can, magnify and amplify my viewership?
You can do a featured post, which once you have some of the quality stuff, you can make that your first thing and you can have several. So like my featured post are some of my bigger things that I've done and collaborations and kind of like who I've done things with and what I want them to see about me versus I was at a lunch and learn. So there's things you can do with premium where you have featured post, or you could make like a flyer from your company or a video or your biggest accomplishment with it so that that pops up first. And then there's a lot that people just miss with their contact information, with their business page, because there's a lot of clicks that people don't know to actually go through. And then you also need to look at yourself in offline mode or from another profile to see what your page looks like. And then there's a lot of things you need to do with like moving your skills around. You need to move your recommendations around, make sure your contact information is correct, make sure you have a banner page. Do you have a company page for yours or just you?
Well, it's me right now. I have a website that I'm getting upgraded, you know, a separate website with a company with my inventions listed on it.
That's fine. It's just some people do a company page on LinkedIn also, and then they don't do anything with it, and it looks really unprofessional to just have a gray background and the avatar. So there's a few things you need to do to actually make it presentable, because if you're running this company and they look at both your profile and that, they want to see something. And so, I mean, I was even on a restaurant's one the other day and it wasn't done at all. It had old website and I had sent something to the owner and I'm like, who's managing this? And he's like, oh, we only do Facebook and Instagram. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I get it for being a restaurant, but if I'm a professional company trying to book you for a catering, I'm probably on LinkedIn asking if I'm going to do my company party with you or organizational party.
Well, you know, one of the things I would thinking of, you know, Brandon, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but how about if you're our speaker in, you know, June or July and you give everybody a lesson on LinkedIn?
That sounds great. It's about the same time I'm launching the book, so it'll
All
work
right.
out.
There you go. There you go. All right.
Now, email
you
me, Brandon. I'd like to contact you. Can I look you up on LinkedIn and
Yeah,
message
please
you?
do. Please send me a connection invite.
All right.
Good.
Howard, it's your turn. Introduce yourself.
Were you talking to me?
I am talking to you.
Yeah, I'm Howard Birdsong. I met Rita when she was making her trips and down to Colorado Springs from Denver, and went to several sessions. Then she had to move away to be close to her grandbaby. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
But she seems to be doing really well. Actually, seems like she's doing a lot better, getting better organized and everything. And yeah, I put one together, a real simple idea, and got it patented because I wanted to go through the process. And who knows, maybe the idea would catch on. But since then, I've just been, I guess, kind of like getting my act together about what else I'd want to pursue with this. I've got one I need to talk to Rita about. I think it's a pretty good idea, but it involves, there's two existing entities, and this ties the two together, but makes them, I think, a lot more usable. But anyway, I need to talk to you, Rita, about that. I need to do I'm at a point just about, I think I can get the patent search done, but I need to talk to you first about it.
All right. Anytime. Give me a call. I will be working at my desk tomorrow, getting some things tied up and sending all of you some information that you've asked for. Howard, I will send you a non-disclosure, non-compete, and I will send you the search information so that you can go ahead and let me know what it is. All right.
All right. It sounds good.
And next week, I'm working on licensing stuff from the show, the contacts that we got, and sending a lot of that stuff out. So
Yeah, sorry I missed that discussion. I was curious to see, and you had some sound like exciting things you wanted to talk about on
we
what
did.
you learned.
We did. You and I can have, well, you know what? We're recording this so you can go back and watch it. We'll be posting.
Okay.
So we've got new websites. We've got Invent America TV that is on YouTube. We have got Invent America's Inventor Lady. So we've got a whole bunch of new channels, and we actually now on the radio that we do every Monday, not only are we recording the audio, but we are recording now, grabbing the video recording, and we are trimming that and editing it. So that goes out on our America's Inventor Lady YouTube TV station. So I've got more stations than I know what's going on right now. And we've pulled a lot of those resources, edited them, and getting them out there. So when you pull up the page that shows where the radio is streaming, we are now on 22 different platforms.
Well, that's great.
So
Yeah,
we've done a lot.
Yeah, my I guess 2 cents worth is for a country that's all about innovation, coming up with fresh ideas. It sure seems like to me they do everything they can to suppress it. And, first of all, cost. I understand getting the patent search, but then actually applying for the patent and patent maintenance, all that stuff. To me, it's just not conducive to get the inventors, abilities to really come through and shine. It really suppresses them. There's probably a lot of people that have good ideas, but when they look at the process and everything, they get casted aside.
Well, one of the things that we've learned is the patent process does take a while. It is critical to being able to license. That's the only thing that allows you to negotiate. So we get out there with them, but where people then really got to dance and really got to shine was at the trade show.
Oh,
And
that's great.
we've had like 4 people already. I mean, we're not even back a month, and we've had 4 people sign up to go next year. So that is, really exciting. And, people came by to see it. Oh, and by the way, the football guy will be in our booth next year. So,
I should have sent some flyers with you to say, interested in a wall switch cover.
So I take the ones that people paid to be there. So it's hard for me to take the ones and work on them because I'm paying staff to be there. So they focus on the folks that paid to be there with us.
Okay.
But when I have a good contact with a product that wasn't, didn't pay to be there, I will follow up with that product and share it with those folks. And that's been, served a purpose too. So,
Well, if you being my agent, there's, we both benefit from it. So.
Yep. So I
Absolutely.
will, we keep a running. So anyway, I have got stuff to do for everybody tomorrow. And guys, thank you. This was a great meeting. They're always better when you help. I appreciate it. So I will talk to all of you in the next few days. If you're expecting something from me and I forget, just remind me. I'm an old fart. So anyway, I will talk to all of you later. Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you all.